I am your host, PokeFuel, and welcome to the Pokemon Profit Podcast. This is the Pokemon Profit Podcast where we take a deep dive into the lives of regular people running their Pokemon businesses and break it down for you and show you what they're doing to make it all happen. Today on the show, we have none other than a passionate Pokemon enthusiast with over a decade of experience running his own Pokemon business. He feels most passionately about his Ninetales No Damage collection and has sold several $100,000 in Pokemon over the years. He hustles every day to make his dream of running a full-time Pokemon business happen, and just a few months ago, he made the decision to pursue his full-time career in Pokemon, and in this episode, we're going to see how he's doing. Please put your hands together and welcome Nick from Old School Pokemon. What I wanted to kind of start off with, I'm so glad that we can be here on the podcast today. It's been quite in the making over the last few weeks, trying to catch each other at the right time, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So I kind of wanted to really just jump into things here and hear a little bit about your story into Pokemon, because you have, I would say, quite the collection, and you've obviously built up a very, I'd say, sustainable business. It seems like over the last, quite a while now. And I'm really intrigued to kind of know like your story since the beginning, So do you mind sharing a little bit of your story and kind of like how you got to where you are, so you can fill me in as well as the viewers?
Yeah, sure thing. So I'm 29 right now. So grew up in the 90s.
Still young.
Obviously, when Pokemon and obviously was into it because everyone else was.
Yeah.
I was never huge into it though. I collected the cards, opened a few packs, opened a few theme decks, but I don't really have those like vivid memories that everyone else seems to have back then.
Did you trade cards at school?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Real OG there.
Exactly. But I pretty much got out of it. I do remember getting out of it with the release of Team Rocket, and my mom bought me my first pack, and I saw all those dark Pokemon, and that kind of really turned me off. So I completely got out of Pokemon pretty much shortly after Team Rocket released. And
okay, interesting. I actually love those dark Pokemon. So that's an interesting perspective. Really? Yeah, I do.
I like them now, but back when up, it was just too weird for me seeing
interesting.
That.
Okay.
So I pretty much got out of Pokemon right after that, and basically forgot about it. Moved into video games, playing video games. And fast forward to like 2009-ish. I'm a sophomore in high school at the time, and I don't have any type of part-time job or any source of income being in high school. So there's some type of new video game that's coming out that I really want to buy. And my mom and dad said they weren't going to buy it for me right then and there. So I'm kind of thinking to myself, how can I make an extra couple bucks in order to purchase this video game? And one day I'm cleaning out my room, and I stumble upon all the Pokemon cards that I had growing up as a kid.
Yep.
So my dad had a coin shop, like a retail coin shop, and he sold on eBay. So for whatever reason, no idea what made me think of this. I found my Pokemon cards, thought to myself, well, maybe these are worth some money. Maybe I can have my dad help me list these on eBay and get some extra money to purchase this video game. So I took my cards, went to my dad, asked him, hey, could you help me list these on eBay, try and sell them? And of course, he said, yeah, absolutely. So we went ahead, I sorted them. At this point, I don't know anything about Pokemon. So I sorted them by holographics, character cards, trainer cards, energy cards. And we took pictures of it, listed on eBay. And from then on, I just got addicted to the process of selling on eBay. Checking every day after school, coming home and checking at how many views the listing had, how many watchers. It was such an addicting process. We ended up selling the collection for like $20-25, something like that.
Yep.
Instead of using that money to buy that video game or whatever I was looking to buy at the time, I immediately thought, what else can I sell on eBay, and use that money to purchase other things that I could sell on eBay. And it's kind of snowballed.
You call it the eBay bug.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Yeah. So I started selling in 2009 and just kind of expanded Pokemon cards, selling them from 2009 all through high school and getting into college. And then when I started getting into college and going to school full time, working part time on the weekends, really didn't have much time for eBay, so I gave that up and basically said I was done with Pokemon, getting off of eBay. So I sold everything that I had, shut down my eBay account, finished up with school, graduated from school, and then when I started working full time, my shipping job, my full time job.
Yep.
I work for 3-4 months at a time, and then come home, spend 3-4 months at home on vacation. So graduate from school, get my first job, work for 3-4 months, and then come home for 3-4 months. And after the first couple weeks sitting at home, I got really bored because everyone is working during the week, so there's nothing to do. And so I got to thinking about getting back into eBay, back into selling Pokemon. And so I purchased it was like a $3,000 collection, and basically restarted from zero. And that quickly snowballed into what I have today, since I had the money that I was making from my actual job plus the money that I was making big. So
that's great. Wow.
Yeah.
So that $3,000 investment that you made, that basically you've turned that into what it is today. I mean, I'm sure you maybe added little bits of income, over the years, probably from your full-time job, but is that generally like kind of how it happened?
So I wish I could say I turned that $3,000 collection into what I have today.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's not the case.
It's not the realistic story. It's the dream story, right?
Exactly. It's definitely possible to do that. Take like a certain amount of money and just keep reinvesting that into something to grow upon. But I more or less, I look at it as I expedited that process.
Yeah.
So I basically was taking everything that I was making off of eBay, plus a lot of what I was making with my full-time job, and just put everything into Pokemon and built up quite the inventory into what I have today.
I bet. That's crazy. So the big question is, what does that look like today? Like, where are you sitting at in terms of like what you've been able to turn this into now?
So since I graduated from college in 2015, for the past 5 years, it's been kind of like a full-time thing where I'm able to focus on it for 3-4 months at a time. Don't have any other full-time job responsibilities. However, recently, going back about a year ago, I started seeing more and more sales on eBay. I was enjoying my full-time job less and less. So I started thinking about the possibility of going full-time with eBay.
Yeah.
And just recently, I decided to make that switch and try out going full-time with eBay to see how that would work. If anything, it's just something at this point. It's just something that I need to get out of my system to see if it can or not, because I'm literally non-stop thinking about this.
Yeah. No, I bet. That's huge, man. And I know we briefly talked about it prior to the podcast here, and I wanted to wait to talk about this because I think that that decision for you, and actually I want to ask you this question before I give my 2 cents. How were you feeling when you were kind of tossing up the idea of like being serious about, hey, I think I'm actually going to quit? Like, what was going through your head and what were you feeling at the time?
So I was mostly really excited.
Okay, that's great.
Kind of nervous about it because there are a lot of aspects that you don't think about.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like the sales and actually running the business, that I have a good hand on. But there's a lot of stuff like getting your own insurance, like health insurance and all that. That kind of aspect of it is pretty scary. Not having and having that guaranteed source of income.
Right.
You have to budget a lot better than when you do actually making a regular paycheck.
Yep.
So it's definitely really exciting and a little scary at the same time.
Mm-hmm. And so far, like, how has it been going for you? Like, how has life been these last 2 months since you quit?
So far it's going really good.
Yep.
I've talked about this on my channel, but
Yep.
with my full-time job, I usually work 3-4 months and then come home for 3-4 months.
Yep.
So I just got home from working right before Thanksgiving. So I've been home for about 2 months. So
Yep.
technically I'm still on like my vacation period from work.
Oh,
So
okay.
it
Yep.
really
It's
me just yet.
advantageous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yep. Gotcha. So it's kind
Really,
of going to
really.
go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, no problem. I was gonna say it hasn't quite hit me that I am actually going to be going full time with this. I think once we get into so like if I was to go back to my full time job, I'd be going back around April, sometime around there. So
Okay.
once we get into May, then it'll really hit me, and we'll see how.
Right. Yeah, because really right now you're just in your normal cycle of work, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Well, that's great, man. Like, I'm super excited for you. I know that, like, I mean, already from what I've seen, we'll obviously be talking about some of these things in this podcast episode, but like, you've obviously been able to, achieve a lot of things already. And, I think that, the, I like to always, at least for me in my life, like things that I've been nervous to do or nervous to start or get involved with, especially if they're newer things, the confidence that you have when you have successes behind you give you so much more optimism going into the future. If you don't have those successes to look back on, it's like, you're going in completely blind and you feel nervous. Probably a lot of people who are listening right now, right? Maybe they haven't even maybe they've never sold a Pokemon card, right? Like they've never tried to actually do it. It's like
Yeah.
you don't have that confidence, but one advantageous thing you have is that you've been selling this stuff for years. So you can sell this stuff. And so it gives you that bit more confidence that, hey, like, I'm confident in myself and my abilities and my skills that I've developed. And, that's definitely going to help you kind of carry this through and keep the momentum going once you hit that, April, May time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's great. Cool, man. Well, cool. Well, yeah, let's start digging more and learning more about you, man. Really, really excited. So, I have a little bit about me. I don't know how much you know about me, but like I've been doing kind of online entrepreneurship for probably like the past 5 years or so. I've done lots of different things, made a lot of mistakes. I've had a good amount of successes too. And there's one thing I've learned. I've had lots of people who've been really successful. I just had a friend recently who, he just got this $1 million award for, this kid's 22 now. he just made $1 million with one of his programs that he sells, and he's a great guy. He's a good friend of mine, and
Nice.
It's crazy, man. I know a lot of people in that space, just kind of being in like around other entrepreneurs and stuff. And I've noticed that people who are able to make like over 6 figures a year, I believe that they're doing things that most people aren't doing.
Yeah.
And so like, with someone like you, and if you guys haven't seen his video about how he did, I think you said 175,000 in 2020, right? On eBay.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Like I know already that that's no small feat. Like that's something that is very impressive. And I know for a fact that last year for you wasn't easy to do that.
Oh no, definitely
right?
not.
So I'm kind of curious now. I really want to kind of dive into you a little bit. Hopefully you're okay sharing, but like for you, when you were going through last year and you were able to, do that 175,000 in sales last year. And I know that's not profit, guys, not profit, revenue. What does your day-to-day look like? Even habits, routines, like break it down from us from the very beginning to the end of the day. Like, what does that look like for you in order to do something like that? Because I'm sure you can think back to 2020 and think about some really, really long days.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. So I do it. First off, doing this part-time and doing this full-time are two completely different things.
Yes.
And hop on eBay and sell a few things here and there as like a side hustle or whatever.
Yeah.
Doing this full-time, especially with the kind of business model that I have, where the majority of my eBay store is cards that are from the WotC era, commons and uncommons.
Yeah.
Majority my sales are between 99 cents and 9.99. So
that is really interesting.
Yep.
You guys hear that? 99 cents to $9.99. Is that what you said?
Yep.
Dude, that's crazy. The amount of volume that you'd have to do to hit, the 175K. Okay, keep going. I'm interested.
So it does involve a ton of volume, ton of sorting through cards. So kind of my day-to-day life, I guess. I'm not a morning person at all.
Yep.
So I usually wake up around 9 in the morning.
Yep.
Hop on eBay, check all my eBay messages, check all my emails, answer all that stuff. Then hop right into packaging, get all my orders packaged. Usually on a typical day, Tuesday through Friday, I have about 50 orders to mail out.
Okay.
I don't go to the post office Saturday or Sunday, so Mondays, usually about 100 orders.
Yeah. No, I get that. It's the same here. Like, we don't do orders on the weekends. We sell the custom controllers. Like, we do them on Mondays. We always have a massive influx on Monday.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Exactly. These are the worst day of the week. So I do my email, do my packaging. Usually done with that around noonish or so.
Okay. That's a pretty efficient morning.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, yeah. I'm sure you've got that down packed pretty well.
Oh yeah, no. Once after so many days of pulling orders and packaging orders, you get a nice little system down.
Right, that's great. All right. Yeah. So what do you do after lunch?
So after lunch, I'll kind of either, depending upon what I have going on, I'll either sort through cards to get them ready to be listed on eBay, or if I get pictures the night before, then I'll start going ahead and listing those cards on eBay. So either sorting cards, listing cards on eBay, or taking pictures of cards, and that's basically the entire afternoon right there.
Okay,
Maybe 1 to 5 or 6-ish.
Yep.
Take a break for dinner, eat dinner with the family, and then I've been hopping back on eBay and sorting through more cards or getting more cards listed. Usually from like 8 or 9 up until midnight, 1 o'clock, and then I'll down and go to bed for the next day. kind of restart this. But
yeah, so would you say you do that kind of like, would you say that's kind of the average day? Is that like a normal, like Monday through Friday? That's kind of generally what it looks like. I know it's every day is different, but
oh yeah, no, usually that's about what it is, Monday through Friday.
Okay.
I try and take some time off on the weekends, but I'm, at least for right now, where I have a lot of projects going on right now.
Yeah.
I try and take some time off during the weekends, but if I take a whole day off right now, I feel awful. So I have to get something done every day.
Yeah.
That's just how I am. I'm such a perfectionist.
Yeah.
And
I relate. Yeah. I know what that feels like to be the perfectionist.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really interesting, actually, because you're putting in long days, right? Like that's a long day. I mean, I'm really happy to hear that you do allocate some family time. Because I think that's important, because I think, I feel like I'm hearing all the time, like people in the Pokemon space with their content creators or their Pokemon business, like they're getting like burnt out.
Yeah.
And I hear it all the time, but like, you've got to take time for yourself. Exactly. It's so necessary to rejuvenate, because if you don't, like, Pokemon is like one of the best opportunities right now this year to, not only make money, but do something you're passionate about. But like, you have to have, I don't believe in work-life balance all the time. I think that you can work really hard in spurts and like maybe dedicate more time to working, but there needs to be a time when you kind of take a break and you kind of step back a little bit more and spend less time and have more time either for family or for yourself to do things that you enjoy. So anyway, I'm going a bit off a tangent, but the point is like I'm really glad you take time for family time because I'm sure that kind of helps rejuvenate you a little bit. Because
Definitely.
I mean, realistically, I mean, I'm just doing quick math. I'm not the best at math, but like you're putting in, really at least 10 to 12 hour days every
Oh,
day, really.
yeah.
Whether it's between researching, packaging, messages, sorting cards, like that's that's 2 to 4 hours longer than a normal full-time job. You know what
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean? And I think a lot of people like don't understand how much goes into running a Pokemon business, And like I think a lot of people want to start one just because like there's that nostalgia and passion attached to it. I would assume that's why I started it. I got
Yeah.
into this because it's like there's nothing like it. Like I've had I've done lots of different businesses over the last 5 years, and like I can confidently say that the one that I'm working on right now, like where I do live breaks, like dude, that is the funnest thing to do ever, man. Like it is so fun, you know? Like, but what people don't see behind the scenes is how much work goes in that people don't see and how much sacrifice that we have to make of our free time in order to make that happen,
Yeah.
you know? So like I guess I'm kind of leading to I want to get your thoughts on this because while it's definitely an enjoyable thing to run a Pokemon business and be looking at, cards all day and you're doing something you enjoy. It's like a definitely an attractive idea, but I think going in with the right expectations, if you're wanting, like if people who are listening right now and they're interested in like learning about whether it's an eBay business or some other Pokemon business, like you have to have the right expectations going into it, that it's not just going to be all fun and games. There's going to be times where you don't feel like doing something. You just have to, you just
Yeah.
have to forget about the way you feel and just do it because you need to do it, So like, what are your thoughts on this in terms of like, I guess I'm not really sure. Maybe you have some thoughts running through your head right now. I'm not sure what question to lead into.
So for like thoughts for people looking to get started.
Yeah, and just kind of like the idea of having the right expectations going into a Pokemon business and kind of like your experience kind of behind the scenes, I guess.
Yeah. So the biggest for me, the biggest thing that like people emailing me and asking questions about how to get started. The
Yeah.
biggest is people put way too much time and effort on actually like thinking about the process and planning everything out. You I don't want to say to like not plan and just
Yeah.
fly by the seat.
You're
but
a perfectionist, so I know you plan.
I definitely do. But the biggest thing is to just get started and start listing on eBay. Start figuring out how to list on eBay. Just get started. That's the biggest hurdle in the beginning. Everything else you'll pick up along the way, learn along the way.
Right.
So that's definitely the biggest piece of advice that I usually give people.
Yeah, no, that's great because I was just going to mention like I've learned that experience is the best teacher.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because you could watch, and again, like even this goes for this podcast, right? You can watch this podcast and learn the ins and outs and different things about how to do it. But if you don't actually do it, you don't have that experience where, we were talking about this bit earlier, where like you have the confidence behind the success that you've had, right? Because there's a different level of motivation and confidence that comes from when you are selling something rather than hearing, oh yeah, someone started a business and sold stuff and made a bunch of money and was successful with it. It's a totally different it has a totally different impact on your confidence level in starting a business if it's what you've done. You know what I mean? So it's like you just got to get out there and fail. Like you just got to do it.
No, that like I said earlier, when I got started, I knew nothing about Pokemon.
Right.
Didn't know how to tell commons from uncommons from rares. Didn't know what.
Oh wow.
I did not know anything when I first started.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh yeah, and all that Pokemon knowledge and eBay knowledge just came as I was doing it.
Yeah. No, that's
Yep.
great. That's great. Yeah, guys. So I guess highlight point from this little conversation here is get out there and just do it. Just experience what it's like to, sell a card. I'm sure you got one card laying around there somewhere. Just list it and give it a shot. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, we've already kind of established, you've been selling, when I say this is kind of like, it's kind of crazy, but you've been selling for over a decade now on eBay, which, you're coming up on 12 years this year. I'm not sure. Sorry, what was that?
That's definitely crazy to think about.
Yeah. It's insane. So, I think we already answered kind of the first question I had here, but how, I guess you would actually, no, I'm going to skip this question because I feel like we've already answered it. I'm going to jump to this next one. So when you started out in kind of starting your business and kind of getting things going, what mistakes did you make along the way? And what would you say are some of the biggest lessons that you learned?
Biggest mistakes that I used to make. Definitely customer service and dealing with customers.
How fun.
It's still something that I hate doing. However, definitely made some mistakes originally back in high school, back in college. You don't have the same mindset. So when people would come to me with a stupid question, I'd get right back and reply with a stupid answer to them.
Oh man, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So that's definitely something I would recommend against. Definitely have to be professional, and no matter what someone comes to you asking, you got to give them the time of day and answer their question, because you never know what kind of customer they're eventually going to end up being.
Yeah. That's actually a really, really valuable point. Like I really love what you said there, because I think it's easy for us to let our emotions get the best of us sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
And there are going to be people you have to. Oh, dude, I was selling some stuff on eBay, actually on Etsy one time, and like it actually takes a lot of energy out of you responding to customers. Like it actually is emotionally draining sometimes, and you're like, having to do that, and it's so easy to just want to just be a keyboard warrior and just be like, screw you know what I mean? Like, but it's really important that, that customer, you don't know what they're willing to spend with you. You don't know like what they're going to, if they're going to keep coming back to you like every month or whatever to buy more product from you. And like, you kind of just have to, when you're a business owner, you kind of just have to bite the bullet sometimes, man. You just got to kind of put all your emotion aside of it and just look at objectively, what are they asking me, and just answer the question.
Exactly.
And that's what you need to do. I'm sure, even with people maybe unsatisfied with products they get in the mail too, you like have to handle that. And, you know, even though it may be kind of ridiculous of what they're saying, but, that's just how it goes. So like, I think, I would say, I would guarantee that people who run e-commerce store, that's probably one of the things that probably sucks the most. It is a difficult thing. But at the end of the day, like your customers, if you didn't have customers, you wouldn't have business. So you have to remember that too, and keeping those things in perspective when it comes to that. So that's really cool that, you kind of learned that the hard way.
Oh, definitely. Absolutely.
That's great.
Sales over the years because of that.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So are there any other like big mistakes or big lessons that you've learned about kind of selling on eBay or selling online?
Another point would be building relationships with people that you're buying from. Obviously that's key, especially for today where collections are so much more expensive than what they used to be. Buying collections on Facebook and eBay are becoming fewer and fewer between. At least in my experience, most collections that I'm purchasing today are coming from people who I've been dealing with over the years and have established a relationship with over the years, just from offering to buy previous collections that they've had at fair prices and telling them what their cards are worth, what I'm willing to pay for them.
Right.
Yeah, just building those relationships, being fair with people. That's definitely key right there.
Yeah, that's a really, you know what? I would say that people like you in those situations have a big advantage. And I think that everyone listening right now, like, I think that the value of relationships is so crucial right now, especially because like you've got like 100 people see on eBay. I guarantee you 100 people see on eBay right now, refreshing the newest listed items every 5 seconds. I bet you any money, waiting to snatch up the next best deal on a collection, right?
Exactly.
It's like, you know, I mean, I see in Facebook Facebook groups all the time, man. Someone posts, "Oh, I need to sell off my collection," you know, and they're like, you know, it's a cheap price. Dude, you've got 50 comments in the first 1 minute. You know, PM sent, PM. It's just like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, man. I am really sorry for you that you have to answer back to that many people. Oh man.
And if it's a really good price like that, they have no idea that their collection is going to be so popular.
Right, exactly. And that's where I feel the market is so saturated right now, is just because people know there's so much money to be made in Pokemon right now with the hype. And, you know, who knows when we'll have a market correction. Who knows if we ever will at this point. I mean, it just seems to keep just, I don't know, man. But I think, you know, coming back to like your point you made is like those relationships. And this is actually something I've been curious about too. But, you know, you've got like, I know I've watched DNG Emporium. He obviously has a lot of good relationships with people, I think, to get some of his cards, and, you know, he middleman stuff. Those people, I feel like have a big advantage because there's stuff that happens off market. They're not something that's in the public eye. And so because you have those relationships, generally speaking, I'm sure you could agree, you probably get a bit better of deals sometimes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right? Because if you can move, if they can move the product and know that you'll be a buyer and you've been a consistent buyer from there, obviously they'll cut you a deal. And two, if they can get that collection moved fast, then obviously they get cash quicker. You know, they don't have to deal with all the nitty gritty selling, which, you know, is part of the value of your business. Is you take the time to sort, you take the time to list and sell and everything. They could just be like, oh, you know, $3,000, take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. How would someone go about building these relationships? Like, let's say if you're completely new to the hobby, right? Like, how would someone go about even trying to start building a relationship with, whether it's like someone on Instagram that has, you know, connections? Like, how would you go about that in a way where it's not like, you know, considered like spammy, or like, you know, you're just asking for stuff? Like, how would you go about that, you think?
Yeah, so I'll answer the question, and I actually got a funny story with one of the
Perfect. I like stories.
So to answer the question, definitely just get your name out there, build a reputation. In this day and age, you definitely need to have social media, so Instagram or YouTube, whatever you
something.
Something name out there. Anytime that customer service aspect, anytime someone messages you, you want to be professional to further get your name out there so that other people come to you versus going to someone else.
Yeah.
And then really just when those collections do come up, even if someone comes to you saying, I have a few cards here, that could be a future an opportunity to purchase more from that person. So no matter what the collection is, you always want to be upfront with that person. Offer them a fair amount, because you really never know what else that person has. Maybe they just sent you a few cards to kind of
testing the waters.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so basically, you want to have a social media profile of some sort, of something where you can post content to, and then if people approach you even with a few cards, then take the opportunity to build a relationship with them, because who knows what they might be sitting on in their storage unit.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, so then, you know, I think that because I know you had another story to tell. I want to hear that story. But so when it comes to those relationships, like, what if they don't know what content to post, and like, maybe they don't get any messages? Like, what would be like, is there anything you can think of as like an outreach type of strategy for getting in contact with some of these people where, maybe there's something that you can do to provide value to that person so that they may be willing to possibly reciprocate, but not expect that reciprocation?
Yeah, so a few things that I've tried to kind of get my name out there.
Yeah.
Obviously, social media, posting every day to gain those followers. I put business cards within all my packages so people
Okay.
have my contact information.
That's
Um,
great. That's a really
but
good idea for eBay, right? eBay sales. Yeah.
yeah, no, definitely to kind of promote your business and get people to be working off of eBay. That's key right there.
Yeah.
But as far the other thing I wanted to bring up was as far as like reaching out to people, something that I've tried to do in the past was I've had some success doing this, but reaching out, or when people reach out to you, give them values on their collection. And then I've also tried offering consignments in the past where I'll sell their item on eBay.
Yeah.
That has turned into, hey, would you just be interested in purchasing this item from me?
I see. Yeah.
Able to build up that kind of relationship versus having them wait to receive the most amount of money they can. They'll just end up selling their collection to me.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. So
I've had some success doing that type of stuff as well.
okay. So
Yeah.
just correct if I'm wrong. Consignment is basically where you'll make like a really small commission off selling it for them, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Make
So
a
go
small
ahead. What was that?
I'll take out the fees from the sale price and then get a small cut for myself, and everything else goes to them.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
This is interesting because I actually made a 2-part series where I talked about the kind of like 10 different Pokemon business models that you can start. And one of them was being like kind of that consignment role where, you
Yep.
don't really need any startup capital, but you need some form of trust, right? Because
Yep.
if someone's sending you, even something of value, right? It's like, how do they trust you, right?
Actually.
So how would someone go about, like, let's say they had no money to really start a Pokemon business, but they wanted to maybe see if they could sell some stuff for other people, right? So first question would be is what would be the percentage of the sale would you normally like ask for? Like, what's reasonable to charge for like a percentage? And then secondly, how would someone who maybe doesn't have reputation even start,
Yeah. So before you can kind of hop into the consignment, you definitely need to have that kind of foundation where you have a semi-established reputation on whichever platform that you're selling on. You need to have experience doing those types of sales like that. So
yeah,
if
true.
you don't have, just starting off from zero and you really don't have any cards to sell, just try starting off by selling anything that you have lying around the house.
Yeah, that's a good point.
More not for the income that you're going to be making off those sales, more or less just to learn the process, gain that feedback. Feedback on eBay is essential. Personally, I don't buy, no matter what the item is, I don't buy anything from anyone with under 10 feedback.
Yeah.
So you really do want to gain feedback before you really hop into selling on eBay. Those first few sales are definitely going to be your hardest.
Yeah. No, for sure. I appreciate you sharing that. Yeah. So I think, like, if you are wanting to do something like that, like even just finding a little few things around the house, just getting your feedback up a little bit, have some form of reputation before you really start, is probably the best way to then, go about that. Because again, like you said, and I think when we the episode with PokeNab, we talked about this too, and he emphasized, like, you need to know what you're doing, especially when you're taking other stuff from other people. It's like, you don't want to be selling this stuff too low. You want to know the market, you want to know its value, and you want to know how to ship, because, like, let's say cards get damaged in the mail. Like, if you don't know how to ship properly, then you have to refund the buyer whatever the amount that card's worth. And then
Yeah.
it's even then there's not going to be like, there's probably going to be some like, frustration from the customer. And, obviously like, how did you not, how did this happen with my cards? So it's like, you want to know how to do a lot of the stuff. You want to have that knowledge base first before you get into that, for sure. So
yeah, you definitely need to have that foundation in place before you
right.
do that kind of thing.
Yeah. So you were mentioning a story. Okay. I think the story was regarding, what were we talking about just before this? Can you remember the story?
Building relationships with people.
Building relationships. Yeah.
So when I was first starting out in 2009, 2010, around there.
Yeah.
PSA really wasn't a thing for grading cards. Really, there wasn't many. First of all, the market was a lot smaller back then, and then second of all, PSA really wasn't a big thing for grading cards. So
that's crazy to think.
Oh, it was so different back then. You really only had two big sellers on eBay selling graded cards at that time. You had eBirdman and then King Pokemon Gary from Pawn Stars. So
really, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were pretty much the only two sellers on eBay that were actually selling PSA graded cards at that time.
Wow, okay.
You had a few, but for the most part, if you search PSA Pokemon, the majority of the listings there would be either of them too.
Wow, cool. Yeah, that's something I learned new today.
Yeah, exactly. So I learned about PSA fairly early on through my dad, who had the coin shop.
Yeah.
Because PSA is a subdivision of Collector's Universe, and Collector's Universe also has PCGS, which is a big coin grading company.
Okay.
So I learned about grading cards through my dad.
Yeah.
And one of the first resale purchases that I made was a display case of the 2-player starter decks with the holographic Machamp inside. So I actually sent those cards off to be graded. All 8 of those cards. They all came back 9s and 10s. And nice. At the time, I got them back, looked at what eBirdman and Gary from Pawn Stars were selling these cards for on eBay. And they were, I forget the pricing, but the pricing seemed really high compared to my cost plus the cost of grading.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm going to blow these guys out of the water and price my card at my cost plus the cost of grading plus 50%. So I'd be making a decent amount of money. So that's what I did. Listed them as buy it nows. And within a couple days, Gary from Pawn Stars sent me an eBay message. Basically, he seemed really upset. What are you doing? Why are you pricing these cards so low? Me and Ed, eBirdman, are trying to establish the PSA market. You can't be undercutting us this much, because at the time, the market for PSA graded cards really wasn't established. For the most part, people were still collecting binder cards. So instead of getting into it with him and arguing with him, this is at the time, this is a random guy who I have no idea who he is.
Right.
I said, thanks for the advice. Just getting into selling. Do you have any suggestions on where I could price these, what they're worth, what I should be looking to sell them for? And
that is a really humble answer, dude.
Oh yeah.
That is humble right there. You just took your pride and put it in your pocket.
And because of that, me and Gary have been able to build up a really good reputation over the years. Quite the friendship, where instead of destroying that relationship right off the get-go with him, was able to build it into something where I've been able to purchase a lot of cards from him for resale. So that's
fantastic.
You never know who you're talking to, because at that time that I got that email, I was just getting into it. I'd never heard of Gary from Pawn Stars. Yeah.
Wow, that is quite the story, man. Wow. See, guys, it's a perfect example of you never know who you're talking to.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep. Wow. Yeah. I mean, it really does, like, I mean, heck, you could be talking to someone that may not be a big deal now, but might be a big deal in the future. You never really know. It's like, I think it's important to try and, treat people equally, even if they may be a small fry or something, you know what I mean? Not know who they are. Yeah, that's a great point. Wow. No, thanks for sharing that story. Glad that things worked out for you. And again, it's just a testament to, show that, when you have built those relationships, I'm sure that that relationship has greatly impacted your business.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've told this to him before. We talk every once in a while, but
Yeah.
had it not been for some of the deals that I've done with him over the years,
Yeah.
definitely wouldn't be nearly as far along as I am right now.
Yeah.
We've definitely done a lot of business together, and he's given me a lot of good deals and helped me out a lot along the ways.
That's awesome, man.
Oh yeah,
it's so funny, man. Like, I think that I don't want to get too much on a tangent. Maybe I just want to make a comment about this, and if you have 2 cents, you can share. But like, I think that it's more like the more that you can do to provide value to others and be willing to give and to help others out, the more it kind of just comes back to you in some way. It's not like you should never expect it, but it just seems to all just come back,
oh,
and I think
no, definitely.
It's such an important principle in business in general. I mean, it's an important principle in life, dude.
Yeah,
just giving without expecting. And it's funny how it all just seems to work out in that relationship that you built. I mean, maybe you could say that you've gotten more value out of it than him.
yeah,
I don't know. You know what I mean? And like, it's just, yeah, I just think it's super important to be in that mindset rather than the mindset of like just trying to figure out how much you can take and take and take from other people and like, give me this, give me that. And like, again, I mean, dude, okay, I have to tell you this story. I have to say it. I have to share it now because it's been running through my head ever since I started talking about this. So 2 little stories. First one is when I reached out to you, my intention was to, one, I obviously would had loved to like get to know you and meet you, but I was like, hey, what can I do to help you? You know what I mean? And like, social media, video, that type of stuff. That's stuff that I've experienced in. So I was like, okay, what can I do to help this guy if he's willing to come on the podcast?
yeah,
And that mentality, like I've used that throughout business. And I obviously have made this mistake where I've just been like, hey, give me, like, I need your help. Would you, what I mean? Just asking and taking. And so
yeah.
I've kind of like developed a bit more of like a, what can I do to help you? And that's kind of been my mindset on a lot of this stuff. And the other story, which this is kind of embarrassing to tell, and I hope that he's not actually listening to this podcast when I share this story. So, funnily enough, I didn't actually realize I got so caught up in the moment in this story. So, we all have heard of the new up and coming best Pokemon channel on YouTube, Deep Pocket Monster. Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
Pat Flynn, my man. Pat Flynn, if you're listening, I love you, man. Pat Flynn is someone who had a big impact on my life for the past, I'd say, 5 years. He was one of the very first people that I ever found online that gave me a hope that I could actually create a lifestyle around what I enjoyed. He has a brand called Smart Passive Income, where he teaches you kind of how to make income online and stuff and kind of, live life on your own terms. Anyway, he had started his channel, and I think it was the 3rd video he had posted. I think he was at like, I don't know, 500 subs, somewhere around there, maybe 1,000. And I wrote up this big, long post on a comment on one of his videos. And what I was doing was I was sharing the impact that he'd had on my life and sharing like where I started to where I was able to get because of the things that I learned from him.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the episode, at the end of the comment, I mentioned, I would love to have you on the podcast. And I'm starting this podcast, business podcast, or I don't know. I don't think I said podcast because I hadn't even come up with this idea at the time. I think it was something, maybe it was something about like, doing a business type video. I think we could like, see eye to eye on a lot of things. Right. And I hit send on that. And I think it was the next day. I'm also following Pat on like Pat Flynn's normal channel on YouTube as well. And he does a lot. I think he's been doing daily live streams or daily videos for like nearly a year now. Crazy.
Oh yeah.
And I was listening to one of his videos, dude, and he was talking about the I don't know what it was. I don't know what the concept was called, but he was talking about how whenever you're, trying to do business or you're trying to build connections and relationships with people, like you've always got to be focused on like giving first. You don't want to be messaging people, asking them for things straight away. And it was along those lines. It was said a lot better in his words. And I was like, just the whole time, dude, I was like sitting there by myself and I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed because I thought back, it reminded me of the comment that I made and I thought about it and I was like, dude, like, why did I write a comment like that? Because when I thought back to it, I have tried to be more of like a, what can I do to help you first kind of person. But that comment, I think I got so excited and so ahead of myself because it was Pat Flynn. And I was like, dude, it'd be amazing to talk to him about Pokemon. You know what I mean? Because he's still, a smaller channel. And like, I felt so bad about it. And I actually went and I deleted my comment. It was like 4 paragraphs long. It was like a long ass comment. Okay. And I wrote a completely new comment. And because I had also seen that he didn't heart my comment and like my comment. He liked everyone else's and stuff. And I was like, dude, I did something wrong. I messed up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he was commenting back on everyone because he's a new channel and he's trying to, obviously grow the engagement and like get to know people and stuff in the beginning.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I messed up. So I deleted it and I wrote a completely new comment. In the comment, I because I knew he was going to see it. I knew he was going to see the notification that I had made a comment.
Yeah.
And I made a comment apologizing for the way that I had, what I wrote in my comment. I told him I watched his recent video. I felt super bad about it. And, I offered him to help him with anything, content or social media. And I know he has a lot of experience there. I didn't know what I could offer him really because he's kind of an all-rounder kind of guy. But I offered him help, and he liked and hearted my comment and asked me, contact information. I sent him an email, or I sent him the email if he wanted to contact me. Mm-hmm. And so it was a really powerful lesson for me to learn that like I screwed up, and again, I know this is kind of a drawn out story. I'm sorry I spent so much time on this story, but like I want to bring home the point like that the relationship aspect of anything you do is so important, and never, ever, ever go into a relationship just asking for stuff because you'll never get where you want to be. You just won't, Yeah. And sometimes it takes ways of being a bit more creative and figuring out more about that person to figure out what can I do to help, Yeah. And so with you, I was like, well, I was having a look at YouTube channels like, oh, I could definitely help with maybe, I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to make you feel bad about anything, but I'm just like, I could definitely help him, improve his thumbnails and just like some little things here and there, to, get more views and get more exposure. And so sometimes you have to be a bit creative, but like, that story really hit home for me. And I just felt like I needed to share it.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, that makes, the other thing about taking like, not like taking emotion out of, your replies or any business dealings, but when you're you don't want to get like caught up in the moment. Try and take a step back. I know with me personally, with like business deals of collections that I want to buy, there's obviously some collections that I'm really excited to buy. Super focused on just buying this collection and how cool it'd be to have this collection. It's sometimes just take a step back from it, take a few minutes, think about it, and then actually go ahead and reply to whatever offer or whatever, anything like that. Just so you're not thinking of all the positives and not the negatives. You don't offer too much on the collection and whatnot.
Oh, dude, I can't tell you how many times it's so easy to let your emotions get the best of you. And when you're buying stuff, you just get so excited and like so blind. Like you almost like when you look back on some things you've done, it's like you almost like, crap, I was kind of like delusional. Like I wasn't really thinking straight when I was doing this. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You just get so excited, and you just like, yeah, it's crazy how that kind of part of you just takes over sometimes.
Oh
You
yeah,
gotta take a step back.
for sure.
Yeah, that's great. Well, yeah, I want to shift gears here a little bit, because I know we've talked a lot about, like, building relationships, and I'm glad we spent a lot of time on it. I obviously have like show notes for the podcast and stuff, but like I do enjoy when they go a certain way, and I think that like it lays the foundation for anything that you do Pokemon business is relationships, and I think this is a really good topic for us to talk about, even though it wasn't super planned, like for us to dive so much detail into it, but I think it's a super important concept. Yeah. So yeah, really happy we talked about that. So let me see here. I want to jump into something else. Okay. So let's jump back to your eBay Pokemon business right now. So when people are thinking about, okay, maybe I want to buy a collection, or they want to buy some cards, and they're like, well, what's like a good reasonable price to pay for these, and how much profit should I be looking at? How do I calculate all this stuff? So like, what do your profit margins look like, and how do you go about maximizing on profits? What should be like a good healthy profit margin to continue to grow the business, or build it up from the beginning? What profit margin should you really be looking at when you're selling Pokemon cards?
So it depends on like what you're selling, what you want to sell, as well as where you're at in the selling process. For me personally, I usually like to, right now, I like to be around 50%, be able to make 50% or so. But that's also because I have, if I don't purchase any collections for a month or two, I have the backstock inventory that I could just catch up on what I have going on. So I really don't need to purchase those collections as frequently right now. So I like to be around 50%, but that's also because of my position. When you're initially getting started, obviously, again, it depends upon what you're actually looking to buy and sell. I would say like 70% would be a good starting off point, where you'd be able to purchase those different collections, as well as make a decent amount of money on those collections as well.
Right. So you think that's pretty realistic?
I think so. If you're talking single cards, I think 70% is a good range to be at.
Okay.
Cards, booster packs, booster boxes, obviously your margins are going to be a lot smaller on that type of stuff, just because they are in demand. But for single cards, I would say right around 70% would be a decent amount.
Okay. That's really interesting, because in a lot of the things that I've done, one of those big things that I've spent a lot of time on the last, several years is running an agency. And running an agency, a healthy profit margin, you're looking at between 20 to 40% is like a really decent profit margin, right?
Yeah.
And so when you're talking like, 70% is like a good margin, it really does open up the, my thoughts to like, there's like that kind of profit margin is extremely good in any business.
I'm saying buying collections at 70% of the value. So your profit margin would be 30%.
Okay. Now I feel like kind of stupid, but okay. So you're talking 30%. So that's right around what I just said. 20 to 40%. Okay. Sorry, we got confused there. So 30% is like that sweet spot for you, or is the sweet spot for people who are starting out. You're saying that for you, when you said 50%, like, 50% profit and 30% profit for people who are getting started. That was interesting, because like I thought I had it backwards. I was like, wait, so you're saying that newer people can make more percentage profit more than an established person? So yeah, now it makes sense. Okay, so 30%, which is I think a pretty good margin.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
So now I've lost my train of thought where I was going with that. So that's kind of a good profit margin for people who are starting out, right? So then let's kind of briefly talk about like when you're starting out, like maximizing on profits, right? So obviously you want to build up some reputation. The more reputation you have, the more feedback you have, I feel like the higher premium you can start charging, because you have that like reputation, right?
Yep, definitely true.
So when it comes to maximizing profits, how do you go about that? I'll just kind of give you one quick thought, like of what I'm kind of thinking is like, shipping costs, right? Like shipping materials, like like what things do you do to kind of help maximize on those profits too?
So maximizing profits, obviously there's multiple different things. The first thing is pricing your item compared to what other items are priced at on eBay. You kind of I like to be like in the middle range, and just price the item and leaving it on eBay until someone comes along and purchases it. Versus dropping your price every couple days, every week or so. Just price it, leave it on eBay till someone comes along and purchases it. As far as like packaging supplies and shipping goes, definitely want to look into purchasing online versus in store. You can get great deals on packaging supplies directly off of eBay, Amazon. That's where I purchase all my packaging supplies. Purchase them in bulk, so you might not need 250 bubble mailers to get you started, but it's a small enough box where it doesn't take up a whole lot of space. Plus your cost is going to be a whole lot less versus if you purchase a pack of 5, a pack of 10, especially if you're purchasing at the store.
Guys, do not buy packaging from USPS. Well, actually, USPS is free. Well, they had the free like first class and the small, medium, flat rate boxes, but like, do not buy tape from USPS. It is $6. It is a ripoff.
Exactly.
Do not send stuff out from the store. It is a ripoff. Well, not a ripoff, but like it's way higher.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, I've actually found that too. With shipping is like, you were saying like don't buy, you might not need 250 bubble mailers, but like I find that just buying, like, I mean, how much do you get that for? I mean, I feel like I bought like 250 or 500 when I started out. It was like 30 or 40 bucks maybe. Does that sound right? Or was that too cheap? I can't remember exactly.
It's like low 30s, 33, 34, somewhere around there.
Yeah, so like it's not a lot. Like if you've got a little bit of money you can kind of put off to the side just to get those initial like bulk shipping supplies. Like I bought 10,000 Ultra Pro sleeves, soft sleeves, and I bought, I think it was a case of those. I bought a case of those, and I bought a case of I don't know how many top loaders. It was at least 250. It might have been 500 maybe.
It's 40 packs of 5.
40 packs of. Yeah, because they I don't have it run around with me, but yeah, it was like basically I bought 2 cases of this stuff, right? And I think with the bubble mailers and the soft sleeves and the top loaders, I think I end up spending like $250 to $300. And I mean, I have been doing like I've sold so many cards and so many packs, like doing live breaks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like I bought those back in September of last year, and I still have them. Yeah, like I'm still going through. So like they will last you a long time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's
go ahead.
It's unfortunate right now because those card supplies are a lot more expensive than they usually are with everything going on now. But even still, when you factor the cost per actual sleeve or top loader or whatever, it's really not that much.
No, it's not. You know what? I actually broke down the costs when I was doing that because I was trying to figure out where can I get the cheapest shipping supplies. And I broke it down. I think I bought the soft sleeves for like 1 cent. It was 1 cent each. I think they're meant to be like that, right? 1 cent a piece. Yeah, I bought it for 1 cent a piece. Top loader was like 6 cents or something when I broke down the cost. And then like I broke down everything. It came out to like 20 something cents. And I was like, if I want to send a single card, like, it's only going to cost me like 20 something cents for the shipping materials, and then, do the other math for the, profit and like other expenses. So like I would definitely like, I think that shipping is for people who sell like on Facebook and stuff and that, like I can't tell you how many packages I get in the mail where I'm just like, they went into the store to ship this, they bought this box and they bought these what are they called? The brand from Walmart. You get the bubble mailers from. I'm like, dude, do not spend that much money on bubble mailers at Walmart. Oh my gosh.
No, it's not worth it. Way too
No.
expensive.
Yeah. So, like, guys, I think the point that we really want to emphasize here is that even if you're selling anything, like, just buy the supplies online. You increase your profit margins. I've actually found that has been the thing that's helped me increase my profit margins the most, is learning how to buy the cheapest online shipping and get the cheapest shipping supplies.
Oh yeah, no, because that's a huge portion right there, shipping.
Yeah.
And with today's day and age, you really have to, or at least I feel you have to offer free shipping.
Right.
That's
yeah,
one thing
it's true.
Yeah. So that's a huge expense when you're factoring however many orders you're shipping out.
Yep.
So if you can really minimize the amount you're spending on shipping materials and actual postage, that's going to save you a ton of money and also make you a ton more money.
Right. Yeah, because it's like that unknown cost that they don't see. It's just, you just want a standard free shipping. Like, that's just what you get with every order.
Exactly. Yep.
And then you don't want to be going to the post office at 4:00 in the afternoon. You got to stand in line for an hour just to get your packages sent out. It's a waste of time. Your time's more valuable than that.
Exactly. No, definitely print your postage online.
You just print with eBay, right?
So I actually never used to print with eBay. I always had my own separate postage program.
Yep.
And then when eBay just came out with that standard envelope with tracking.
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. That's a game changer right there.
I saw that and I was like, what?
So I actually just started using eBay to print all my domestic labels. International eBay still has a weird system, so I still have my little postage program that I use for international.
Yeah.
And through PayPal, but eBay offers a great service for printing packaging labels. Definitely.
Yeah, I've found that because I've sold a lot on Facebook, so like I haven't been able to go. I don't know if you can go through eBay with labels that aren't purchased off eBay. I don't think, right?
Yeah.
No. So you can go through PayPal Business. You can buy okay, actually, quick story. Really, I won't make this story long. So some guy bought a bunch of sealed product from me last year, and I had to ship in this big box. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go UPS because like USPS can be way more. Once you start getting above a large flat rate, it's like your UPS is cheaper.
Oh yeah.
UPS ground. And so I put it all together, took it to UPS, and I shipped it out from UPS, right? Which is the first mistake. And I should have known that because, we're here talking about buying labels online, right? So I paid, I think it was $110 for shipping. It was a big box. Like it was like 63 pounds or something like that.
Yeah.
And I paid for insurance on, I think it was like 2,000 or 3,000 insurance, but the shipping cost was like 80. I think it was like 80 or something. Went back, and I was like, that just seemed way too much. And someone told me about PayPal Business, and I went and looked into it, and I was like, how much would this cost if I had bought the label off PayPal Business and through their shipping program? Would have cost me $32.
Oh my God, that's so ridiculous.
And I was like, how? And second, I was like, I'm an idiot.
Yeah, so, especially with like FedEx and UPS. The one side of USPS, if you use it, if you try and go to the store, it's so much more expensive versus PayPal or whatever you're selling on.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, yeah, it blew my mind. I was like, okay, never again. I usually ship out with USPS, but that time I was like, I went to UPS. I wasn't as familiar with the process. And so like lesson learned again there. So make sure you get your labels online.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I think those are some good points there for maximizing profits and talking about profit margin. So guys, like, anything you can kind of see is like a 30% profit margin, pretty healthy. Remember, don't forget the eBay fees, 10% on collectibles.
Yeah.
And 2.9% on PayPal with 30 cents plus 30 cents, I think. Maybe I know people say 3% usually. It's just easier to say, but make sure you factor in those costs.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And shipping. Yeah. So, cool. All right. So, if you don't mind, can we kind of break down maybe some of the numbers with you from last year, particularly because I know you'd made a video about that.
Yeah.
So like, were you able to maintain or get around a 30% margin on the revenue that you sold last year, or was there some discrepancies, or was it a difference there?
So I do in general,
Yeah.
I'm able to get on, if you look at it like a per item basis,
Yeah.
I'm usually able to get 30-40% margins
Yeah.
on stuff I sell.
Mm-hmm.
But with when you get into like the whole tax document and talk like that,
Yeah.
I don't break each individual item down and say I sold this item for this, I made this, so my profit was that.
Yeah.
That would be impossible for me. So what I do is I basically, when I purchase a collection,
Yeah.
I say that right then and there.
Yeah.
So I use it as a tax deduction right then. So when it goes to sell, I don't reuse that tax deduction.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
looking at it like for last year, I purchased a lot of inventory last year,
Yeah.
which looking now is quite fortunate.
Yeah. For
So
sure.
I think I did about 175,000 in sales, but I
Mm-hmm.
also had 95,000 in purchases that I made for resale. So my
Okay. Yeah.
actual margin for last year was right around 45,000, which I
Yeah.
guess that's still 20-30%.
Yeah.
But yeah, so usually
Okay.
it's a little bit higher than that, but because I made so many purchases last year, that's why it was a little bit lower.
Yeah. So you have what you're kind of speaking of is like you have your own collection and own like sealed product that you have that you've kind of like put aside that you won't sell. Is that what you're talking about, or is it something different?
Well, yeah. So I have my own stuff that I put aside.
Yeah.
That stuff won't be for sale, and that's
Yeah.
stuff that I don't factor into what I actually make.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Gotcha. Cool. Where was I going with that? I was gonna okay, so last year for you, it was a pretty good profit margin. I think that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say with a business like yours, with any business that has to do with inventory, we've run into this here running this business the last 5 years. It's just like I've kind of come into the business to work with my brother like over the last year,
Mhm.
on him on it, on to work with him on it. And what is unfortunate about inventory based businesses is you're generally reinvesting all the profit back into the business to continue growing it. That's
Yeah.
generally how it works. And it's really hard to get ahead because if your business is growing, you need more inventory on hand. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
need to be buying more inventory. So it's like this endless process. So like if you guys are really thinking about like an eBay business, like you have to understand that like it's not about like in 6 months time, it's not like you can take out 10,000 out of the business and not suffer from it. You know what I mean? Like it, if that's your goal, then maybe an inventory based business is not for you. Maybe it's more of maybe starting a YouTube channel or, building a content platform, or maybe it's like what you were saying earlier, consignment, right? Building up some reputation so you can do consignment. Because then, it's not money that you're having to pump back into inventory. So just keep that in mind. Any inventory based business where it's like buying and selling bulk, sealed product, being a reseller, buying collections, those sorts of things, like you have to keep that in mind, is that you can't just be like, oh yeah, I made $3,000 this month, I'm going to take that out. You know what I mean? It's like that's going to hurt you more than
Yeah.
it will
Yeah.
help you, especially in the beginning.
Oh yeah. No, for the first, like I said, when I restarted eBay, the first 5 years when I was working full time and doing
Yeah.
eBay, everything I made on eBay, plus a big portion of what I was making as my full time job, would go right into my eBay business for new inventory, building up my backstock inventory, so on and so forth. So that way
Right.
I could point where I could start to take some money out of the business.
Yeah.
Right now I'm still really not taking much money out. The
Mm-hmm.
only money taken out is for like my monthly expenses.
Right.
Everything in right within my business.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting how that works. Hey, it's like, my brother, has been, well, I was actually talking about it the other day, but he was like saying that it's taken almost 3 or 4 years to even start paying him a salary. You know what I mean? To have enough money in the business where it's like, it actually makes sense to have then like a monthly budget, like, for example, the business was started in our parents' basement, like we'd fix up controllers, and, they would, list them on eBay and stuff. Like they'd buy defective controllers and then relist them and sell them.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, so it was kind of a thing they had going on, but like, obviously since they were living at home still, I'm not going to get into specific my brother's business, but my brother, they were living at home, so the expenses was, super low. They won't have to pay rent or anything, And so like cutting back on those to then use the money, the profit the business made to then put back into more inventory was just like something that had to happen, sacrifice that kind of just needs to happen in order to get the business really, moving and building some momentum. And so like, don't expect guys to just take a paycheck after month one.
No.
I'm just gonna say that. And that's, I know it's really not, it's not the sexy part of Pokemon, where you like kind of think about it. It's like, oh yeah, like I'm going to buy up all these collections and I'm going to make $10,000 in my second month. It's like, well, you might be able to make 10,000 in your second month, but you shouldn't take it out because it's just going to hinder you more than help you. So you have to kind of be in it, like expecting that, hey, and I think this actually plays into a very important aspect is like, don't go quit your job and just start a poker. Like that's scary.
Oh yeah. I mean? No, definitely gonna have the systems in place for you. Start to think.
Because these are things you don't think about when maybe you're just like, we're talking about like before with the emotion and like just you can even call it the hype around it right now is like so strong that you just kind of want to make rash decisions. I mean, I fall victim to it. I've got to keep myself in check, and and like it's it's very important that I think it's important to have some other income source that's consistent while you're doing this to get it off the ground.
Oh yeah.
It's hard. It is, and I'm sure you can attest to this. It is hard to work a job and do this on the side. You got to sacrifice a bit more because, like most people, I mean, I don't know about you before. I mean, you've been doing this so long, you probably don't remember like what free time really is. But like, you come home from work and you kind of relax and you kind of do your own thing and stuff. But like, you got to sacrifice that time, or at least some of it.
Exactly.
And that just needs to be like a commitment that you make in order to make it work. I think that's the best case scenario is either part-time or full-time, unless you're still living at home, which I'm not judging you for it. You can live at home. That's fine. And cut, I mean, anything you do to cut down your expenses, right? And like there's no shame in making decisions to cut down your expenses, because at the end of the day, if you believe in it enough and you want to take the risk, then I'd say take the risk. I've always been about people who, I push people to go and, chase their dreams. I think it's important.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. So anyways, just be smart when you're thinking about a Pokemon business. And yes, there definitely is a lot of money to be made in Pokemon, but understand that you really want to be keeping as much money in the business as possible, especially when you're doing an inventory-based business.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the way things are today, anyone can hop in today and make money with Pokemon with the way things are going. Yeah. But it's not always going to be like that. No. So you definitely don't want to get used to today's standards with how much money able to make, able to purchase stuff from Target and Walmart and sell it for double immediately. That's
if you can even find any.
Exactly. That's not going to be the case. So you definitely don't want to set your expectations according to what today's market's going to looking like, right?
Yeah, no, you're totally right, man. It's true. I think that now is a very unique time, and we don't know how long it's going to last.
Exactly.
Obviously, I have some confidence, speculation that like this year is still going to be a very solid year just because it's the 25th anniversary. Oh, yeah. After that, I have no idea. You know what I mean? I don't know what's going to happen, and time will tell.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't know if you saw it. Did you see Rudy's video, Alpha Investments, about the printing facilities?
Yes, I did actually. I watched. That was super interesting, that video.
I thought that was. So I think we're going to be I think we're going to be safe for this year.
Yeah.
But forward, once they finally start to catch up and they're able to start printing more and more product, I think we're going to see sharp declines with modern stuff.
Yeah, I think that could, if what he's saying is true. So, guys, we'll just give you a quick rundown. Basically, Rudy from Alpha Investments, he came with a video and he's talking about how there are, I don't remember the name of the company, but there's a company in the United States who's currently in the process of building more factories to print Pokemon cards here in the US. And I think he said something about a 12-month to 18-month time frame to when they can really get up and running and printing cards. And so his speculation was that in 12 to 18 months, I think he has very bold titles. I think something about, in 18 months, he's going to make a video in 18 months talking about how he made this video now. You know what I mean? Proving his point.
I forget. I want to say he called it like something that Pokemon's dead in 15 months or something.
Yeah. Actually, you're right. Yeah, it was something like that. So he put out this video about how, like, right now the market for modern product is absolutely insane, which it is. It's incredible what's happening, and it's just straight up lack of supply that doesn't meet demand, and that's pushing prices so high. And I believe it is one of the biggest factors that modern sets that maybe don't hold as much value compared to others, like Hidden Fates, for example, like sets like Rebel Clash and Sword and Shield base, like these sets, like, man, they're nothing really that special about them. No one's ever really valued them that much, but yet they're still going well over MSRP right now. And I think that, go ahead.
Nobody wanted these sets. I remember, I've been selling. I ordered. So I semi recently got into distribution and buying from wholesalers.
Oh, great! Yeah.
One of the first modern sets that I went outside of booster boxes to try and sell other product was Rebel Clash. And I saw my prices for theme decks. I think my cost was $62 per case of 8. Okay. So the cost on them are relatively cheap.
Yeah.
And we're selling these theme decks for around $15 on eBay.
Yeah.
So I thought, those are decent margins. Let me get some theme decks. So during the Rebel Clash release, I think I bought 5 cases of these theme decks.
Yeah.
And I'd buy them, list them individually for $15 a piece on eBay and make a decent amount of money. Well, at the time, nobody wanted Rebel Clash theme decks. I listed them at 50, did not have a single sale. Listed them at 10, had like 1 or 2 sales.
Wow.
I just left them on eBay at $10, and they've been sitting there ever since. When I got back home back in late November during this whole Pokemon boom, those have been selling like crazy. They started out at $10 a piece. Now I'm selling them at $15 a piece, and flying off the shelves.
Perfect. That's you just gotta wait. You had to wait a little while to make it happen. That's crazy though. I mean, Rebel Clash is one of those sets that's been known as like the worst of Sword and Shield.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Sword and Shield, definitely. Rebel Clash is awful.
Yeah, right. That's crazy though. It just goes to show like the market right now is just absolutely insane. I think that again, you have to be really careful because like as soon as any news gets out to the public and official news of certain printing and stuff like that, like that's going to get people very scared. There are so many people right now who are sitting, I see on Facebook all the time. There's a Facebook group of it's like a Facebook Pokemon collectors group that I'm part of because I'm just kind of curious to see what people have. Dude, I can't tell you how many people are just sitting on modern product, dude. Just literally got their freaking bedrooms packed to the roof with modern product. And I'm just like, dude, one, like some of these collection boxes I have, I'm like, dude, like when you look at it objectively, like it doesn't really have a lot of value. Like there's nothing unique about it. It's just a product. You know what I mean? Yep. And when that happens, dude, when those tide turns and that production goes up and starts to meet demand, man, all those people are going to get really scared because they think that they're sitting on all that product that's going to go up 100% in the next year and try and sell it. They're going to panic. And people are spending all of their disposable income, in addition, probably money on their credit cards, buying this stuff. And when it all comes crashing down, man, I think it could get crazy.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a scary time. There'll be a
Yeah,
lot of opportunity to purchase collections.
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, be ready, guys. Start building up your savings right now. Don't, hold off on buying and just wait till then. Oh man. So,
Exactly.
yeah. So I think I don't know what we were talking about before we brought up Rudy, but I think that's a really good point too. Is like, just keep that in mind with like the increased production, because at some point, like obviously Pokemon knows that they need to print more, but they just can't. So they're obviously in the process of getting more printed or
Yep.
setting things up so they can print more. Um,
Exactly.
yeah. So when that happens, I think it'll be good for the market in general. I really do. It just
Oh yeah,
might be a little bit
definitely.
crazy.
No, I hope it settles somewhere in between what we have now and what
Yeah,
we had before it happened. Because right now it is so hard to purchase modern product from even distributors,
I
like
know.
smaller like me.
Yep.
It's nearly impossible to get anything decent from distributors.
Yep.
So
I've
I,
tried. I've
once
tried
they
to go
printing
ahead.
more, it'll be nice once they start printing more and more. So that way
Hmm.
you can actually have that available inventory to sell.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, don't get me started on talking about allocations for Shining Fates. I mean, we've seen, I've heard stories and all sorts of things, but yeah, I mean, at this point, I mean, there's just been so many people applying to be. It's unfortunate that people are. It's just. I know this is a whole different topic we're getting into here, but like, it's just unfortunate that people are buying, like, becoming distributors when they're not really wanting to be a business. They just want to buy it so they can flip it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that is unfortunate because like I'm in a position where I would love to be connected with a distributor, and I've applied and obviously heard nothing back. I'm a small guy, probably a lot smaller than what you run, and like it's just really sad that you know they aren't even willing to even some of the distributors aren't even willing to look at your application. There's one I was filling an application the other day. There's one that said if you're applying for Pokemon product, then don't apply.
Oh, I can believe it. Yeah,
And I was
there.
like, well, there we go. You know what I mean? Like it's just frustrating that that's
Yep.
happening, and it's just what it is right now.
Yeah.
And hopefully, like you said, there's some sort of middle ground where it starts to balance out when all the people who, I mean, I don't want to call them greedy because I'm an entrepreneur at heart. It's like I get on jumping on opportunities, like I get it, but it's
Yep.
just kind of it is kind of ridiculous what's happening. And I know
Oh,
there's a lot of people who've been in the hobby for a while, like especially collectors, get very upset with these people. And like I get why they're upset, but at the same time, it's like markets change. You just have
exactly.
to adapt. You just have to do things differently. Things can't be the same all the time, and they never
No,
will be.
no, you really do have to constantly adapt and change
Yeah.
with what.
Yeah. So, anyways, we could probably talk about that for a little bit longer, but we'll just move on to another question here. Now we're kind of getting to the tail end of some of my questions around like the eBay business side of things, and kind of we'll move into kind of wrapping things up. So let's see here. What actually, let me ask you this. So we've talked a lot about kind of what your eBay business has done so far. Do you have you made any kind of future plans and goals for your online selling? Kind of whether is there like a revenue number you're looking to achieve this year? Is there certain aspects of your business that you're looking to expand or do, whether it's this year or into the next year? Do you mind sharing like some of your plans or goals?
Yeah. My so this will be the first full year that I go full time.
Yeah.
With eBay and with Pokemon. So really, my only goal right now is I'd like to see 50 to 70,000 profit
Yep.
for the total year.
Yep.
And I think realistic number.
Mhm.
And if I can make that kind of money in terms of profit, that would kind of confirm that I can do this as a full time
Yep.
job. That's kind of my biggest goal right now is to
Yep.
see that kind of profit margin
Yep.
throughout the year.
That's great, man. I think a lot of people, I know we've talked about kind of like the dark side of running a program business and the good side, but like I think that, that kind of if someone was able to work towards, making that much with their Pokemon business, I think they'd be pretty happy.
Oh yeah.
It's a good amount of money to make. Yeah, that's
No,
great.
is as tough as it is selling on eBay. It's
Yeah.
by far it's so much fun. Definitely the best stuff I've had, at least for now.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's awesome.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. So we talked about in the beginning about there was two things that we touched on. Some of the biggest lessons you learned. Maybe this question kind of plays into that a little bit, but maybe if there's something else that comes to your mind. But I had a question here. What would be like your top thing that you would caution or warn people who are listening right now about maybe something they should avoid, or even something that they should do to start a business like this, or something they should avoid? Is there anything that comes to mind in addition to what we've talked about already?
So we'll talk about like products first, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it's tough because, so like how we were talking earlier about how modern selling's so fast right now.
Yeah.
Do super well right now. I would actually discourage anyone from selling anything outside of sealed product for modern. Get into the whole single cards, grading modern cards. There's a lot of competition within that, and it could be very discouraging if you're someone new who's just starting out. If you're someone looking to expand your business who's already been selling for a while, there is definitely opportunity within modern, but it's a lot harder than you'd think. So I'd encourage that. What I've always thought that has a lot of opportunity is WotC bulk cards, commons and uncommons.
Okay.
A lot of times selling those types of cards, but your profit margins on those cards you really can't beat them when you look at it as a percentage versus a dollar amount.
Yeah.
I typically purchase commons and uncommons for 20-25 cents a piece right now, and I'll sell them for between $2 and $5 a piece. So
wow, that's pretty great. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because I think correct me if I'm wrong, but like I think modern bulk, obviously not reverse rares and rares and ultra rares and stuff, but like don't they a lot of people buy it like 6 cents a piece? Is that right? For modern?
Rares and stuff, I think it's around 6 to 8 cents a piece.
Yeah. Okay.
They're like 3.5 cents a piece.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the 25 cents for WotC bulk, that's not bad at all.
Oh no, yeah, no, definitely.
That's a pretty good price. Yeah, and it seems like, I mean, obviously everyone wants the WotC era cards, so it's like, it's like the old thing, but like if they could buy them cheap for a few dollars, it's like, I can see how that would be a good market,
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Because there's just, like you said, a lot of competition in modern, and I think that there's so many people that are wanting to sell their modern bulk too, Yeah,
exactly. On modern cards are a lot easier to find, and it might seem like a good deal because there's so many cards and there's so many holiday cards. If you don't know much about Pokemon, which probably everyone watching knows something about Pokemon, but seeing all those holographic cards might sound nice, but really for modern, your basic holographic cards and all your bulk cards, super hard to sell those types of cards.
Yeah, right. Have you had any experience trying to sell modern?
I semi-recently got into selling modern.
Yeah.
And you can make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
I personally like selling those single type of cards. So I'll buy a bunch of booster boxes, open all the packs. I sell everything from your commons through your rares, reverse holos.
Yeah.
I've been grading all the hits. So I'll sell those after they get graded. But basically just selling everything individually. I got into selling on Troll and Toad. They offer something like Fulfilled by Amazon only on Troll and Toad.
Do they really?
Yeah, that's actually
that is cool. So yeah, okay, I really want to ask you about this now because I'm personally intrigued by this, and this is actually really interesting because I don't know if a lot of people know this. So you're saying that with Troll and Toad, it works similar to an FBA service on Amazon where you send in shipments of your products and they will sell them for you or do the customer service and ship it. Maybe not customer service for you.
Yeah, no, they take care of everything.
Oh my gosh. Where have I been? So, okay. I don't want to, this is an interesting topic actually. So Okay, so the reason why I'm freaking out about this, guys, is because the business that my brother and I run right now, the so normally when you run a business and you're not shipping FBA, you've got to go and you've got to get all your products and you've got to package them into their own boxes. You have to print all the labels. You have to ship them out like on a basically a daily basis to your customers, right? So you got to take all of your orders to USPS, drop them off at the side door or whatever you do. You got to take them there. With Amazon FBA, what you do is you'll prepare all the orders, and let's say you send like 500 products to Amazon, and what they'll do is when someone purchases on Amazon, they'll fulfill the order to the customer for you and handle the customer service. So all you have to do is basically send like a large shipment of say a bunch of products, and then those products will be sold and shipped and everything without you doing any more of the work for the next 2 weeks, if that's how long 500 products lasts, or that's how much it lasts. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to Pokemon, if you can do that with this is singles, right?
Yeah. They'll anything they sell on their website, you can send to them.
Okay.
So singles, booster packs, booster boxes, basically anything.
Wow. So they basically provide it's a service for you to help you not have to manage shipping, customer service, and kind of the nitty-gritty tedious stuff that you usually have to do, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So tell me how it works exactly, because a few questions are running through my head. How do you ship stuff in? Like, do you have to have it all organized and like in the separate packages? Like, how do you ship stuff in, and then like, how do they sell yours over someone else's? And like, do you pick prices for this stuff for your stuff against other people's? Like, how does that work?
So when you sign up for an account, you can create a shipment. You have two options. You can have them organize and go through everything, or you can organize and go through everything. If you have them do it, they're going to charge $8 an hour.
How much?
$8 an hour. Because they're based down in Kentucky or Tennessee, one of those. So their minimum wage is a lot lower than up here.
$8 an hour is not even bad, honestly.
No,
like, dude, if I my 15,000 bulk I got sitting downstairs right now, like my time I feel like is worth more than $8 an hour. So like I'm already like, hey, I should just send it in.
But see, the question I had was how quickly are they going through it versus how quickly can I go through it?
Yeah, that's true.
That was my big concern, because I've always just done it myself.
How slow do they do it?
Exactly. That's
Okay, all right. So they charge you $8 an hour, or you can do it you can organize it yourself and then you send it in, right?
Yeah, it's basically it's similar to a PSA submission form where you enter what the card is. Mm-hmm. And then you enter how many you actually have to submit, and the pricing that you want to ask for that card.
Okay.
So you put everything. You do that for everything. You print out the form. Yeah. You organize the form that's created is organized the way they want cards to be organized. Okay. So you go back through and organize everything the way they want it. Yeah. Then you just package it up in I always use flat rate boxes. Okay. Send it off to them, and they're usually running about 2-3 weeks to process Evo shipments. So when they get it, they'll make sure everything that you said was in there is in there, and then they'll go ahead and list it onto their website. Which at that time you have it's kind of like a seller hub where everything that you're selling is listed on there. Okay. And when they list on their website, you actually get to go back through and adjust the pricing if you want to, adjust how many you're showing as available on the site versus how many you have it within your like back stock or something. Yeah. So you can actually go through each individual card and see what the lowest price is on Troll and Toad, is what the highest price is, what the average price is, and list your card however at whatever price point you want. Okay. And do they show you do they factor in for you so you can see okay, this is how much we charge for shipping and everything, like this is what you'd make at the end, so based on what price you put in? They charge for the shipping, so you don't have to worry about the shipping. Okay. They take care of that whole aspect. They do charge a fee based on what the value is.
Yeah.
So
They got to make money somehow.
Exactly. For bulk cards, I think I forget the exact range, but anything from like from $0 to $2, they take like 50%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're taking a good chunk of those types of cards.
I was wondering where they make their money. Okay.
But the good thing is, on bulk type cards, you can sell them as bulk for 3.5 cents.
Mm-hmm.
If you do like TCG Player, those cards average about 8 to 10 cents a piece.
Mm-hmm.
But you're doing all the work. Whereas on Troll and Toad, really the minimum price is 20 cents. So even after the fee, you're still walking away with 10 cents, and you don't have to do any of the work.
That is pretty damn crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. How did I not know about this? That's crazy.
Either.
Wow. Okay. So that's actually huge. I definitely want to talk about that some other time. That Troll and Toad, man. Like, wow. I need to do some more research on them, because that's huge.
Oh yeah. You'd be shocked at how much they sell every day. Just like the order, how much that sells every day on my account. It's unbelievable.
Okay. So how many, like, quantity of orders? How many orders are you selling a day?
Well, they do it by like the cards. So they'll say you sold 25 cards for this amount.
Oh, okay.
I sent them 20,000 cards initially.
Yeah.
Going back probably about 6 months ago now.
Yeah.
All bulk type stuff, and I'm down to about 10,000.
Wow. Wait, 8 months ago?
About six-ish months ago.
6 months ago. Okay.
Yeah. So 10,000 in 6 months.
And that's you starting a Troll and Toad account from scratch.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So more than likely, as time goes along, you'll probably be able to sell more because you'll be more established. Or do they sell it as their own cards?
No. So if you go into Troll and Toad and you search for a card, it'll show whoever has the lowest price point will be the first person on the list, and then it'll from there, depending upon your price points. Okay. So when you actually purchase, you can see like there's different like logos on the left hand side of whose card that actually is.
Oh, okay, yep. Okay.
So it doesn't matter too much about like ranking. They won't like rank you higher.
Okay, it's just price.
Rusty or something. It's all more or less based on the pricing.
Okay. Wow, that's really interesting then, because that for me, because I'm a person who doesn't have a lot of time already to think about, like, I can't tell you how overwhelming it's been for me to have all this bulk and not know what to do with it. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And like I want to do something with it. I don't just want to just sell it off for the, just like, part of me does because of the time aspect. But part of me just wants to like be able to sell the stuff off, like get a better price, like get more for it,
Yeah.
So that could be a good that sounds like the perfect middle ground. If I don't have to handle shipping, and I mean, you have to spend the time to organize maybe, and I don't know if I'd pay the $8 an hour to have them organize it. But if I organize it, had it in a spreadsheet, organize that, do it their way, then that might be the option.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's so nice having that as an option to sell.
Yeah. And go ahead.
The only other downside is they have it set up where you can't be like a small. So say you only have like a couple hundred cards.
Yeah.
Sort of like bulk type cards, a couple hundred bulk type cards. You can't hit those and expect to make it work, because they do require you to have before you get paid out each time. You have to build up $150 into your account before they actually pay you.
Yeah. That's actually a lot how a lot of affiliate programs work too. Is you'll have to hit a certain threshold. It's $100 or something, 150 or whatever. So that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, because I was just gonna say, like, all those people who are watching right now, I know I kind of nerded out on that Troll and Toad a little bit, but like I think it's valuable information too, because we're talking about like people starting a Pokemon business, right? And you're talking about maybe you don't have any extra money to put into it. If you've spent a ton of Pokemon money on Pokemon last year, and you've got all this bulk sitting around, and you don't, you want to get the most money for it so you can use that money to then reinvest. you got, a few thousand, 5,000 cards or something like that. Like that's probably the way to go. Like it's worth the time investment, I think.
Yeah,
To
no, exactly.
basically make more money out of something you already have. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah,
So
no,
yeah,
and
that's great. I mean, that might be a great way for some initial capital to be built up for, people who are listening right now to, start having something to put into, you know, Pokemon, other products.
yeah, no, for sure. And
Yeah.
they take care of all the customer service. If anything gets, if you sell something and the person wants to return it, they don't subtract it from your account. It gets added into the Troll and Toads account. So now it's there
Oh
now.
my gosh.
Yep.
Dude. Okay. Like I understand how like that's just such a big thing. Like we were talking earlier, and I'm sure those who are listening, like talking about customer service and stuff. Like having that outsourced is the dream.
Huge. Oh
It
yeah.
really is. So just even like shipping can get really, really tedious too. I mean, you do it every day, but
Oh,
like it's tedious. And you've kind of got your process down now, but like
oh,
still,
it's still
yeah,
you still hate it a while
right,
when
yeah,
you're shipping a 99-cent card and you're making like 5 or 10 cents on the sale. A
yeah.
little
See,
depressed.
that's right. Yeah, exactly. Okay. That's great. Well, yeah, I'm just gonna do some more research on that and have a look into it. But hopefully that was valuable for you guys too who are listening, just to hear more about Troll and Toad, because I don't know, like you've obviously been doing it for 6 months now, and it's good insider information, for sure.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, I just wanted to how long have we been going so far? I'm trying to think.
I actually have no idea.
It's
I
gotta
just
be it's gotta be a
restarted.
couple hours, I think. I think we're right in a couple hours. So I think I had a couple of questions around your YouTube channel. I just want to ask you one and we'll kind of wrap up.
Yeah.
So I I'm a big advocate of YouTube. I love YouTube so much. Like it was always my dream to be a YouTuber and do that as a career. And I just have so much fun creating content. And I think that at least from what I've seen from you, you share that same passion. We talked about in the beginning how you have like a passion for I think it was before the podcast about you have a passion for like helping other people. And I noticed on your about section on your YouTube page, you said, I'm going to quote it. You said, on like what the channel's about, you said, discuss the day-to-day operations of running an online business selling Pokemon cards. And I feel like that kind of like sums up your like value proposition of like what type of stuff you want to put out and what, how you want to help people, I guess.
Yeah.
Why did you decide that you were going to add YouTube to part of your business in addition to like the reputation factor? Because you already kind of had that on eBay.
Oh yeah. No.
Why was that something you really felt strongly about to start? Because you're already short on time doing all the stuff you're doing every day.
No. Honestly, in the beginning, it was just something that. So my very first few videos were of a. At the time, it was my largest collection purchase. It was a $10,000 collection full of all kinds of cool cards. So
Yeah.
at the time, I had been thinking about getting started with YouTube because me and Z&G Emporium started around the same time.
Okay. Yep.
And so I was watching his channel as he had gotten started, and I really liked the concept of the business side of things. He was kind of the first person that I started watching that was more focused on the business side of things versus collecting or talking about the actual cards. So I would see his channel, and we would talk every so often about starting on YouTube. And so when I finally did purchase that big collection there, I wanted to start a channel at that time just so I have something to go back on and look at this collection that I had purchased.
Yeah.
So I've had so many cards pass through my hands over the years.
Right.
And I'd really never think to take pictures or record a video of the different stuff that I pick up.
Yeah.
So the first thought was to have something that I could look back on and
some memories.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then the second portion was because I wanted to kind of echo off of what he was doing and in more or less the business side of Pokemon, because I really didn't see anyone talking about that stuff myself. And one of the biggest things with that was I was always curious about like how much people were making off of selling Pokemon cards.
Right. Yeah.
definitely nobody talking about, okay, I did this much in sales per month,
Yep.
this profit. So that was something that I always wanted to kind of get started with and talk about.
Yeah.
Just interested me. I thought it was interesting,
Right.
so I figured other people would think the same way.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's actually a really good point. I feel like I think it's really cool that you identified that in the market is like the lack of something, and I think that that's where opportunities really lie, is when there's something that you
Yep.
notice that, hey, there's something missing here, that I could maybe bring to the table. And so like that's what I really like about your channel. I know we really haven't, well, we've talked about numbers a little bit here in this video, but like you've openly shared numbers on your channel, and like I really like that aspect. Not because like I don't ever want people to think that I like talking about numbers because like, oh, look, this much revenue and this much profit. Like I like talking about because it's interesting to know like what's
Exactly.
actually going on behind the scenes. It's not to, I know it's, it's the same for you. It's not to brag. It's not to show off. It's just like, it's just interesting information that we don't usually normally hear about.
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
So when people can get more of like a realistic or a correct understanding and not be like questioning like, well, how much is ZNG Emporium actually moving? Like how much product is he actually moving? Like, how much is business doing? Is he making profit? Like how much profit? Like all these questions that
Yep.
I've had watching ZNG, like I want to know like what's actually going on? Like what is he doing? I know we talked about numbers a little bit, but not a whole lot, not a ton.
Yep.
Maybe
Yep.
I haven't watched enough of his content, but um I think it's okay to talk about numbers, especially when it's coming from a place where it's educational. And I think at the end of the day, like it's just going to come down to the individual, whether they like, like their viewpoint on, how you're sharing the information, I guess, because at the end of the day, people might just be like, oh, he's putting these numbers in his title, like, whatever, like it doesn't matter. Like the purpose is like giving you behind the scenes information, stuff that isn't necessarily always talked about,
Yep.
and showing people that like, hey, behind the scenes of old school Pokemon, it's like you didn't even know what cards were. You didn't even know what a common and uncommon was. You know what I mean? Like just to paint the picture for everyone, man, like you started from nothing and this is 10 years. You have to remember that. You've spent
Yeah.
10 years on this. You've put dedicated thousands and thousands and thousands of hours into where you are now. And like, I hope that, everyone who's listening right now, and I know this, you want this for other people too, is like, you can do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's possible. If people like old school Pokemon and me can, start a little Pokemon business, like it's possible, man. Like anyone can do it. We're just everyday people. We're just like and that's what I liked. I like to bring that relatability back, kind of, ground everyone in like, hey, we're just like you can do it. You just got to put in the time and the effort and learn and experience and fail, succeed, you got to kind of go through that process.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, that's what I really do like, what you said about why you started YouTube and everything. And I think that, just coming from me personally, I know that the success of your future endeavors and what you have for, kind of building this into a full-time thing and transitioning into that for you, I know that the YouTube aspect and the Instagram and the content that you're putting out is going to be extremely important for your continued success. I come from a content background, like I've had clients that I've done work for. Like I've helped clients like make YouTube videos. I've helped clients make content for Instagram, Facebook. I've learned the ins and outs of like how to grow on those platforms and such, and provided services around those things. And I may be a little biased. Like I really do believe in content, and I think that social media is such a huge, is such a big thing that like if you continue to put out content like you are, and you can, grow those platforms, it's going to have a big influence on, the other areas of your business. You may have already seen that impact.
Oh yeah,
heck,
no,
dude,
I
I would never have reached out to you if you'd never made content. I
Yep.
wouldn't know who you are.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, exactly.
So it provides opportunities.
Yeah, yep,
Yeah.
no, and people reaching out to you to purchase collections, or
Yep.
that see my what I have available, that didn't know about my eBay store beforehand.
Yep.
It's definitely out in multiple ways, which is awesome.
Right. Yeah, that's great. That's awesome, dude. Cool. Let me see. I think I had one more question, maybe relating to kind of I guess, you know, wrapping things up here. So
Let me just flick. Hold on 1 second.
yeah, no worries, man.
Okay.
So if you were kind of gonna leave everyone with one last thing here, hopefully yeah, if you're gonna leave people here with one last thing, if you were to condense down everything you've learned over the past 10 years in the Pokemon world and in the business area, what would you say or share to your past self? If you were to look back to old school Pokemon 10 years ago and tell him something and condense down everything you've learned about starting a Pokemon business, what would you tell him?
That's a good question. Um, I would probably say to just keep on grinding, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh, would be the gist of it. Don't get caught up in kind of the day-to-day things.
Yeah.
Because there have definitely been times where something bad happens, get a negative feedback or something like that,
Yep.
and just get super bummed out about it, thinking that's going to be the end of the world.
Yep.
Yeah, just don't get bogged down by those things, and just continue expanding upon your knowledge, because when I was first getting started, really didn't know too much about Pokemon, and so I missed out of opportunities. Versus now, I'm constantly researching different cards, looking into different sets, ways that I can be selling. So just kind of expanding upon what you already know. Never stop learning different ways to do business, so on and so forth.
Yeah. I think that's a great piece of advice there. I think that it's important to enjoy the journey, and never, never focus too much on the destination. That's also something that I've learned too, is like enjoy like where you are right now and where you want to go, work towards that. And then, like you said, don't get bogged down in like all those things that inevitably are going to happen. There's going to be bad days, there's going to be bad things that happen. Just kind of like deal with them and keep moving forward.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I appreciate you sharing that. I think it's a really it's a really important thing to remember, like when you're in business too, I think, because it's easy to get in your head and doubt yourself. And I can't, I'm sure you'll probably laugh because you can probably relate to this, but I can't tell you how many times like I've thought to myself, like, maybe I shouldn't do this anymore, or maybe this isn't for me, like you get in those moments where it's just like, it seems like the world's ending. You said it, it seemed like the world ending sometimes. You like, then the next day you wake up like, hey, everything's fine. Why was I so bugged out about that yesterday? Oh man, that's great. Well, again, man, like I really, really appreciate your time. I appreciate you being here. I hope that everyone has, gained a lot of knowledge from this podcast. I think this was definitely a killer episode, and I appreciate you sharing everything you did. And I appreciate you just being on, man.
Yeah, no problem. I'm glad you asked me to be on. I was glad to come on myself. I like doing these sit downs with different people.
Right. Yeah, I was super
It's a lot better than it's a lot better than just talking to yourself in front of a camera. Actually,
yeah, no, I totally get it. Yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the podcast. Maybe we'll have to have old school Pokemon on again in the future. But hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you leave a like on the video if you did enjoy. And yeah, we'd love to hear your comments down below of anything we talked about today and what your thoughts are on those subjects. So thanks so much, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.